Hey guys, what's up? We are back with a video today, and today we're doing a Chicago Bears mock draft. Man, guys, draft is almost here. It's on Thursday. So I'm excited for this draft. Bears got number 1 and number 9 overall, and it's going to be a fun draft. We are definitely going to do a live stream of some sort. I have 3 final exams that day and one on the Monday following his college wraps up, and unbelievably, I am done with my freshman year almost. And so I do have to finish out with that stuff, but I do want to get these 2 mock drafts out, a Bears one and a Packers one. Those have been my most consistently great mock drafts, so I didn't want to get those out, but I do promise a lot more consistent content as soon as the semester is over. It has been crazy. I have taken 18 credit hours. Long story short, that you probably don't care about. We're going to get some more college football content coming your way, starting with a group of a now Power 4 previews coming up soon in May. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Bears only have 5 picks in today's draft. There is a little bit of a trade that I did make at the end, but it is mostly insignificant. I did trade back with my 3rd round pick and upgrade with a 4th round pick a little bit. So a little bit of a switching around there. But otherwise, not too much difference trade wise, because right now, with the number 9 overall pick, I don't like the draft simulators when it comes to that. But I'll get to that in a second. Number 1 overall, I think everybody knows it. Caleb Williams is going to be number QB1 in Chicago. He just is. I don't see any other way forward. I'm a Notre Dame fan, as you can see from this video. Even this is from this puzzle, and even over here, you got the USC. I'm not a big USC fan, but Caleb Williams, he's a special talent. There is no doubt about that. He is a great player. Don't love him as a personality, particularly, but he is a great quarterback, better than Drake May, better than Jaden Daniels. Those guys have issues that I'm very concerned about bustability, and it's not that Caleb Williams can't bust. Look at Trevor Lawrence, a guy that was even considered better than Caleb Williams, and he's been okay, to be fair. Like, he was put in a terrible situation. This Bears situation should be better because of a defensive line or the defense overall being better, a better coaching situation. You should be in a better spot. The offensive coordinator, we'll see. I have my hopes with Shaden Waldron, but it's still a we'll see. So, like Caleb there at number 1, not my favorite thing in the world, but when you traded Justin, you had to go quarterback, and by far and away, I like Caleb over any of the other quarterbacks in this draft class, period, point blank. Number 9, like I was talking about earlier, don't love the trade simulators when it comes to this. So I didn't do any trade with the number 9 overall pick. I think it kind of depends on draft day. Who's desperate? Is it like a team that wants to get a quarterback desperate, or they want to get a wide receiver? Maybe I've seen some opinions about the Bills wanting to trade up for a wide receiver, or maybe even the Bengals maybe trying it if they ended up letting go of T. Higgins eventually or something like that. You could see a lot of developing pieces when it comes to that, so I think that changes a lot. But with this particular one, we did see the offensive lineman go, and that is Joe Alt, and that's the one guy that I would take over. I'm not a big fan of taking a wide receiver. I get it. It's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with a wide receiver generally, but when you have Keenan Allen, you have DJ Moore, and you have issues at edge rusher, when you have issues on offensive line, I would really like to take Joe Alt. There's no doubt in my mind. I want to take Joe Alt. If he's there at 9, or if he's even there at 7, and you got to trade up just a little bit and take him, please do. Please take him. But right now, I didn't like trade up or trade down scenarios when it came to trade value. So I stuck at number 9 and got my second player that I would like at this position, which is Jared Verse, the edge rusher out of Florida State, who I think is very much a possibility for the Chicago Bears. Verse has shown a great job. Both, even when he transferred from Georgia to Florida State, has done a great job these past 2 years, getting a lot of production. I believe it was 16 and a half sacks this past year. Did a great job overall throughout the season, being able to get after the quarterback, being able to put pressures, particularly because it's not just about sacks, it's about pressures. Are you disturbing the quarterback, maybe making an errant throw or stuff like that? It's not just about sacking the quarterback every time. I think that Verse has a lot of refined skills. I think that he has a good job at being able to sometimes be a speed rusher, but more particularly a bull rusher. And I think that that is definitely a position that the Bears need. You have Montez Sweat, but your number two edge rusher, not as much. And if you go with what the Bears coined as the rule of three here, you need three edge rushers in order to be able to make an elite defensive line. That's what made the 2018 defense so good. You had Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, and Cleo Matthews. There you go. Right now you have Montez Sweat. You're working there, and if you pick up Jared Verse, that's number two. And possibly, if everything works out, a Gervon Dexter could be that third threat in the rule of three. And I do agree with the rule of three. I think it's a good theory, and to be honest, I think it is very much less of a theory and more of a definitive fact when it comes to edge rushing, because when it comes to the rule of three, it's you can't double team everybody when there's only 5 offensive linemen. You could add a tight end, but then you're taking away your options when it comes to that, and you definitely don't want to be doing that. But don't worry, I did address the wide receiver position because I was very happy with this selection. Number 84, I traded down and got Devontae Walker, or Tez Walker as he's more well known as, the wide receiver out of North Carolina. I love this pick. Tez Walker, dynamic player, was at Toledo before North Carolina had all those issues when it came to the transfer rules and stuff like that. But dynamic. That's the one word I have for him. And to be honest, it's not that DJ Moore and Keenan Allen can't be that. I think DJ Moore definitely could be dynamic. But I think that Tez Walker fits in that slot position to a degree. I know that Keenan Allen plays a lot of slot. Don't get me wrong, and you kind of need a Y. You have an X. You have a slot. You kind of need a Y. But I think Tez Walker can fit this position well. I think that he's a good pick and possibly would compete with playing time when it came to that wide receiver 3 role that Tyler Scott currently occupies now. I just think he's an improved version of Tyler Scott, to be honest. Then at number 98, wanted to continue to help this defensive line. That was great last year, don't get me wrong. This was the number 1 team in rushing stats defensively. And get Mason Smith, the defensive lineman out of LSU, continue to build up that defensive line. Personally, I just think that between my two teams of Notre Dame and the Bears, like in the trenches matters a lot. And when it comes to the defensive line, you can never have enough of them. It's always good to put bodies there because you never know who's going to turn out. And with this late early 4th round pick, it is helpful to be able to do that and add a Mason Smith there. Then at number 122, we're going to continue to add to the trenches for the same concept that I just mentioned earlier. That's Christian Jones, the offensive tackle out of Texas. I don't think he's going to be available at 122 because he's been rising up draft boards massively these past couple of weeks. Christian Jones probably is going to be an mid-third round pick would kind of be my guess. Maybe early, probably not. That'd be kind of a reach for him in my opinion. But mid to late third round is where I think he's at rather than this position that he's at in the 4th round. Christian Jones has a good athletic capability, would be a good swing tackle, especially if Braxton Jones is still going to be your tackle, which unless if you draft Joe Alt or you trade back and get Alon Fashanu or the offensive tackle out of Oregon State, Falangu. I know I'm saying that name wrong. I'm sorry. Or if you trade back even further and got one of the guys later there, or you traded back and got Jackson Powers something. I think it's JPJ, the center out of Oregon. All those could be possibilities, and maybe you don't address the offensive tackle position there. But those are all things that I think matter, but aren't essential when it comes to that. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And hope you enjoy this as we approach the draft. Make sure you check out the channel for some draft coverage as well. As always, have a great day. See you guys.